Hello, good morning, everyone. So I've been pulled to kind of pop on and talk about some things that my guides have always told me in the childhood that have really come to play a lot and understand a lot more this last couple years. So when I was younger, I just knew that the Bible was to be read in stories and not in scriptures. And so during religion classes, it was really hard for me to even want to focus, to participate, because it just didn't feel right. And then my guides were like going, okay, when it comes to history, learn it to pass it, but don't learn it to memorize it, because what they're teaching is not the right history for that planet. And I'm just like going, okay. And so really wasn't into history that much growing up anyways. And so, did pass, but whatever. When I went to go visit the buildings and the places where history happened, that told me a whole bunch more stuff than ever reading about it. Well, these last couple years, with everything that's been going on Earth, I have been able to access the universal life books of each planet. And that has been an amazing journey down this crazy whirlwind of looking at what has really happened here on Earth and why we are to the point that we are. And so over time, we've been told, hey, there was asteroids that hit the Earth, that there was the flood, that there was this and that. And what if some of it may have been true, but yet a lot of it was not even true? What if all of the stuff we're being told is to keep us in this matrix? I mean, I've been shown in, and we'll talk about this, and each one will have a different subject. But when they're in their back, they're showing me about 6,000 years ago, they showed me that the Death Star, the war over Earth. So in Star Wars, that planet that they're creating that has that war, well, that's Earth. And because the people on Earth at that time never saw darkness, they didn't know what was coming. They didn't know what hit them. And so they lost. And in order for darkness to come into play and to live here on Earth, because at that time Earth had two suns. And in order for Earth to come in play and to have the darkness here, there needed to be some form of a dark within the daytime. And so they brought in the Death Star into the atmosphere to become our moon. And that started to affect our life, our cycles, the water flow, anything that has an energy movement, that started to affect it. And what I've been shown is that, we've all been told that like the Atlantean time period has been a time period where it was just like one small little section. But what if it was the whole entire Earth? Every landmass at that time that was above the water, because remember, when you think about it, if you had two suns, logically there probably is no ice. And so the landmass would have been a lot smaller. And they had no. And so they had, when the moon came in, it changed everything. The tides changed. That's kind of when the flood kind of happened and people were wiped out. The dark could come in and start planting their seeds, start planting what here on Earth, what they also wanted. They had to convince people that They were superior. So if we look back, even on like the History Channel and all those ancient like cultures that they talk about, if they've done child or human sacrifice, you guys, let's think about it. That is definitely not of the light, right? That's got to be of the dark. So these seeds came through and started infiltrating all of these different areas and go, hey, we'll give you this technology, but we need this back. And so they started to corrupt different cultures. And when that happened, life became completely different. It became more on a, instead of a loving, caring, hey, we're all in this together, we're all helping each other out, we're a community, it became more of a dictatorship. Like, hey, we're better than you because we have this technology and we get to move on. Well, we have to remember, too, that the Bible was written by a reptilian mind person who wanted control, who was a dictator. I mean, we need to kind of keep that into our mind frame as we go through this. Yes, the Bible has a lot of great stories, but yet there is some things that we need to not know or discuss, talk about. We need to be more open about the history of Earth, what truly happened. So then we have, as we come in, and they came through and they started to really infiltrate all of these different areas. Life became about survival versus love. And love is where we need to get back. Love, joy, and happiness. We have lost those over the years. And we really need to start getting that back for us to move into our own ascension. Okay? The earth is going to do what the earth is going to do. When the Atlanteans were here, that was a 4D world. Because the dragons that were here flying around at the time live in the fourth dimension. Okay? When everything happened, that bumped Earth down to a 3D, three-dimensional world. And we are wanting to actually bring it up to a 5D, five-dimensional world. So that way we can bypass that other history also. I mean, we got to learn from it. I mean, the darkness, the light and dark of the day is not ever going to go away. Right now, I don't foresee that. I don't foresee our second sun coming back. So we do need to talk about all of this darkness that has happened within this world to move it through, and so it doesn't happen again. The true history on Earth, and the reason why we keep on repeating everything over and over again is, one, I think they're putting it into our minds so we think about it more often. Because what you think about, you get, right? Two, nobody's being taught why things happened the way they did. And nobody talks about it. Why aren't we talking about it? Why aren't we having those difficult conversations with people like, hey, how did this happen? How did the people allow this to happen? What mind frame were they in to think that they didn't have a choice and just allowed it? I mean, right now, you guys, we're in this crossroads, and there's a lot of people who talk about everything that's going on in this country, but yet nobody, or only a handful of people, are willing to stand up and go, hey, this is what's going on and we need to talk about it. I mean, these difficult conversations of things that are happening in this world are here and in our faces for a reason. We need to stop doing spiritual bypass and thinking, oh, it's just going to go away, because it doesn't. I learned that from my own childhood issues. Okay. When I was younger, it was a very hard childhood, very abused. I needed to get through a lot of stuff. That's when I found the Akashic Records, and the guides helped me get through it. It took me a few years because, when you do your healing on yourself, it takes a lot longer. So now I have this program that helps other people get through it a lot faster than what it took me. And so that is my 10 years of, hey, this is what I've been going through. This is what happened. These are the steps to learning how to go, hey, I now can help you through this in 12 to 15 weeks. And we can get that thing settled and most of it out of the way. But it doesn't also happen overnight. We have to remember that if something's been within us, or it's taken like 50 years for something to get to that point, as soon as we start correcting it, if it's in the physical body, it takes 1 month for every year that it has been developing to undo. If it's in the soul, it takes a realization of, hey, this is not who I am anymore. This is who I am. And then as soon as we create that new you, the universe is like, oh, we're going to throw all these situations back at you to see if the new you really wants them or not. And that is also why, you guys, when we go through our changes and we work through our stuff, why it feels like we're constantly getting the same stuff thrown back at us. It is because the new us has not had that before. And so the universe is like going, well, let's see how you do with this. Let's see how you do with this. The new you still wants this because it reacted. Okay. So we're going to keep on throwing this in your face. And so everything that is going on has been this wonderful journey for all of us. And it has been this weird journey on the other hand. You guys, we need to come to terms and realize. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about, I've talked to this about on other shows, is that the Bible has given you clues about things that have happened to your physical body that the dark has done. Okay. We have 12 main chakras, not 7. We used to have 12 DNA strands, 1 for each main chakra, not 2. It is time that we start to realize and actually start to activate each one of these main chakras and DNA strands back to us. I mean, I deal with the 8th and 9th chakra a lot because that's the Akashic Records and the soul's DNA. But yet you have the 10th, which is teleportation. Then you have the 11th, which is telecommunications. Then you have the 12th, which is open bliss self-love. How many people here would like to have that open bliss self-love come back? That does take time. And so, there's going to be, we're going to have a lot of other discussions. And so with this discussions, just so you guys know, if you cannot find me on Facebook, I will be on YouTube, or maybe not on YouTube, but I'm on YouTube right now. I'm Twitch. And then if things happen, I can always go to Rumble and upload to BitChute, just so you guys know, because some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about they may not want you to know. So in the Bible, it talks about like the 12 olive branches. Those 12 olive branches go to each one of our 12 original DNA strands. In the Bible, like they talk about so many different things. So we're going to like bring it all together and see what sticks. So around our brain, we have a crown of thorns, and it is a crown that looks like that has nerves coming out of it. So it looks like a crown of thorns. All right. This right here creates a special oil that we need called the colostrum. The colostrum will then go down our chimney right in the back, along our spine, down to the holy vessel, which is our sternum down there. And it's going to sit there until our birth sign moves into the moon. When that happens, it takes the journey back up Jacob's 33 ladders of our spine, and then it gets up to our neck, and it needs to cross the vagus nerve. But in order to do that, the vagus nerve needs to part. Okay, so Moses' river, right? It needs to part so the oil can cross. Then it's going to go up to the hypothalamus, into the tomb of darkness. And it's going to sit there for 2.5 days. Then it comes out and it splits into your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. Okay. If one of those glands is not working, it's not going to split. If one of them is clogged, it's not going to split. When they do not split, we don't complete that new us and that bliss. How do we know this is working? When we are able to dream. This happens, and this is when our dreams are most vivid and active, is when it first splits. This is vitally important for us to know if we are in alignment or not. Because if we are not in alignment, we are not going to dream. We are not going to have those psychic awarenesses. We are not going to be open to new ideas and challenges. We're going to be kind of like a flesh-walking robot. Personally, I don't want any of those around because I think those are called zombies, right? Okay. So yeah, life has been interesting. I will come on and we can talk about more of each of these subjects more in depth, because I know I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff at you from the life books that are going to be completely mind-blowing about what really happened. All I can say is you guys watch movies and TV shows as if they're documentaries. Pay attention to clues that they're giving you. All right, you guys, this is Majestic Michelle, and have a beautiful day.